We have more data on the relationship between exercise and mortality than on almost any other lifestyle variable. Studies tracking hundreds of thousands of people for decades have produced a remarkably consistent finding. Specific types and doses of exercise reduce all-cause mortality by 30 to 70%. Liadol's JACC study found that just 5 to 10 minutes of running per day was associated with a 3-year extension in life expectancy. This is not correlation. The dose-response relationship, biological mechanisms, and consistency across populations establish exercise as one of the most evidence-supported longevity interventions in medicine. Liadol's 2014 JACC study followed 55,137 adults for 15 years and found that runners had a 30% lower risk of all-cause mortality and a 45% lower risk of cardiovascular mortality compared to non-runners, with benefits appearing even at running doses as low as 51 minutes per week at any pace. The dose-response curve was not linear. Even minimal running produced substantial benefit, with returns diminishing at higher volumes. This video draws from 5 peer-reviewed studies across Journal of the American College of Cardiology, JAMA Internal Medicine, Lancet, Lancet Psychiatry, and British Journal of Sports Medicine, covering running, strength training, minimum effective exercise dose, mental health benefits, and overall mortality data. The exercise for longevity conversation is often framed around elite performance, marathons, extreme fitness, professional-level training. The research tells a dramatically different story. Wen et al.'s 2011 Lancet study of 416,175 Taiwanese adults showed that just 15 minutes of moderate exercise per day produced a 14% reduction in all-cause mortality and a 3-year life expectancy gain. The dose-response relationship peaks relatively early. The transition from sedentary to minimally active produces the largest gains per minute of exercise. Sedentary behavior is independently associated with mortality, separate from exercise. Zhao et al.'s 2019 British Journal of Sports Medicine analysis showed that meeting physical activity guidelines while also sitting more than 8 hours per day offset some but not all of the exercise benefit. Sitting time and exercise dose are 2 separate variables with independent and interactive effects on mortality risk. Different exercise modalities produce distinct longevity benefits through different mechanisms. Stamatakis et al.'s landmark JAMA internal medicine study specifically investigated whether strength training provided mortality benefits independent of aerobic exercise, and found that it did, with a 23% reduction in cancer mortality specifically attributed to resistance exercise. Stamatakis et al.'s 2018 JAMA internal medicine study is the definitive evidence that resistance training provides longevity benefits independent of and additive to cardiovascular exercise. The study analyzed data from 80,306 adults in UK and US health surveys with up to 9 years of follow-up, controlling for aerobic exercise participation. The minimum effective dose of exercise for longevity is lower than most people assume. Wen et al.'s Lancet study quantified the life expectancy gain per minute of moderate exercise over a lifetime, finding that the return on investment is extraordinarily high at low doses and diminishes progressively at higher volumes. The evidence base for individual exercise types and their mortality reduction has been quantified across large prospective cohorts. This comparison integrates data from multiple studies to rank exercise modalities by all-cause mortality reduction. Exercise extends life through multiple simultaneous biological mechanisms, not just cardiovascular conditioning. Understanding these mechanisms explains why different exercise types produce additive benefits, and why no single modality captures the full longevity benefit. The evidence-based longevity exercise framework combines aerobic and resistance training at minimum effective doses, maximizing mortality reduction without requiring elite-level training commitment. The framework is accessible to any healthy adult. The measurable biological changes from consistent exercise follow a clear timeline, from acute metabolic effects in the first weeks to structural cardiovascular and skeletal changes over months. The daily and weekly implementation of a longevity exercise protocol can be structured as 6 specific actions that collectively capture the mortality reduction documented in the literature. Exercise protocols must be personalized based on current fitness, health status, and specific mortality risk profile. These adjustments match the protocol to individual circumstances. The data on exercise and longevity is among the most robust in medicine. Here is what the peer-reviewed evidence conclusively shows. The evidence is clear. The mechanisms are understood. And the exercises that statistically extend your life are within reach for almost anyone. Follow MedBrief today for more science-backed health insights, explained clearly.